Greetings friends, Steven here. Welcome now to part 4 of Gamer Hall Special, the Vancouver Retro Gaming Expo. Now this is not just the stuff that you saw at the end of part 3, this is also a bunch of other stuff that I picked up in this specific trip to the mainland. I do of course live on Vancouver Island, so a trip to Vancouver always provides a few stores I can't normally go to. So in the back we will start off. It is the Final Fantasy Mystic Quest poster that you saw at part 3. Now, surprisingly, there's nothing on the back. Normally, these things, they tend to have, like, maybe a monster guide or something, but this is just a poster. I can't complain though, I mean, it's a cool poster, and I'm pretty sure I got it for a fair price. Today's date is Monday, May the 5th. It was over a month ago, I guess now, since the event happened, so I don't really remember the prices on all this stuff. As always, I will guesstimate and usually get stuff for a good price. I believe this was maybe around $5, maybe around there. I've never really played Mystic Quest. I know a lot of people hated the game because they said it was too easy or it was too simplistic or whatever, but I don't know. I do have a copy of it, I've just never really given it much time. There you go. Alright, so I've got this open as well. Pro tip for anyone out there who loves to watch and maybe do their own pickup videos, have the tricky stuff set up already, because then you don't have to do any edits or anything like that. So, Vancouver, very prominent Asian community, so it's often really easy to find these little Japanese toy with candy sort of boxes, and I love all of these things, but in Victoria sometimes we get these Pokemon ones, but I haven't seen them very often. So, it's the little fire lion guy, Japanese name Shishiko. You can see on the back here it shows you which ones you can get out of this specific series, and mercifully they actually show you on the front which one you're getting. Because often these things are just blind boxes and you'll just buy one and hope you get the one you wanted. So, I have already opened this. And there's your candy. This is gross. It's probably not worth eating these. So, get out of the way. Neat little box. Oh, it's cute. I don't even remember what these things are called in the North American version of the game. Cool little mohawk. And I'll put that guy right over there. I don't know what it is about Pokemon X and Y, it didn't hold my attention. It is worth noting that I have been playing Ocarina of Time, the 3DS version, so I'm trying to focus my efforts on that, so I'm trying to avoid going from game to game, then just, you know, it just gets all messed up and you lose track and then all this nonsense. Anyways, so let's start showing off some of these items I have just off camera. Tips and Tactics, the Legend of Zelda instruction booklet, featuring a somewhat gold paint. You can see it's kind of shiny there, and just loaded with that vintage Legend of Zelda art. So let me just get. We won't spend too much time on each item, but I do want to give an idea of what we got here. You are the hero, Link. Featuring his original, I guess, cross shield there. So I guess this is like a much fancier version of the traditional instruction booklet. Although I don't know how you would have gotten this originally. So you got your monsters and items, some maps. Was pretty useful back in the day. We all just kind of knew where this stuff was, because you'd always go to a friend's house and they would have Zelda and they would know where some secrets are and you would know where some secrets are, and everyone just kind of knew over time. But if you didn't have any of that, a book like this would certainly come in handy. This also reminds me of a Nintendo Power issue, but this is very specific and I can imagine extremely useful if you didn't know where any of this stuff was. I'm gonna get that map. Nice. That's cool. Even spells out the dungeon, so to speak, for you. Yeah. pretty neat collectible item. Doesn't really, I wouldn't say you really need it nowadays, but you know, fun item to find at the Retro Gaming Expo. Put that in the back there. You know what? I'm gonna fold this up because the collector in me is like, yo, just fold that back up, leave it crisp. We like them crisp, son. There we go. Alright, and just before I continue, I just want to do a special shout out to friends Rob, Darren, and Andrew, who we all saw mostly in part 1 and part 3 of this series. It's great for them to appear on camera, and we had some good times over there. And I look forward to the next, I guess next year's big event. Let's see what we got here. Taito's Sky Shark Instruction Manual. I bought this thinking it was the Sky Kid manual, but I guess Sky Shark is okay as well. I don't remember if I've shown this off or not already. It feels like I might have. I actually filmed 3 more of these gamer hauls before this episode, but they will air after this, so it is possible I might have shown this again in the future, although I recorded it in the past, so I don't know, man. I'm starting to feel like the hero of time. Alright, so this is pretty neat. One of these stalls in the vendor's room there, they had a bunch of manuals, which as you can see is what I'm going over now. But it's really neat because they had these little slips that, as you can see, they fit quite nicely over the manual. So we have the Super Double Dragon by Trade West. It was an okay Double Dragon, not one of my personal favorites, certainly not as good as 2. Better than 3, because 3 is always the really, the really iffy Double Dragon. Not counting like some of the weirder Game Boy ones or even Genesis ones. Some of the Genesis ones are okay as I hear. I won't put that there. But yeah, this is pretty neat. I didn't know they had slip covers specifically designed for instruction manuals. Next up, Looney Tunes B-Ball. Another slip. Very fun game, very much in the vein of the NBA Jam games, except of course with Looney Tunes characters instead of proper basketball stars from the 90s, when basketball was arguably at its best. So each character has their own special skills and strengths and weaknesses. Very fun game, definitely, yeah. Definitely one I would recommend if you ever see it and you're like, man, Looney Tunes B-Ball, is that any good? Yes. Yes, it is. There we go. Now you'll notice a theme for this episode. It is the mech theme, more specifically Mech Warrior. Well, this is a pretty neat Super Nintendo instruction manual because, as you can see, it goes this way instead of this way. A lot of text, not a lot of art. And picture is actually really small. That's the rest of the book. So not a whole lot really to show. But once again, neat collectible. That's really what this is all about, right? Cool, 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 cool. Those in the back. I'm actually tempted to reuse some of these on better manuals. Actually, as a bit of a special feature, check this out. Oh god, what we got here is a shitload of manuals. So I kind of have a collection of them already, and there's some really fancy ones in here. Oh, what's that? Oh, apparently this Mega Man X3 instruction manual is ridiculously expensive on eBay. So if you ever wanted to see what it looks like this. It's really nothing special, but for the collectors out there, I don't know, I could even see myself selling this to someone if they offered a high enough price for it. It does have a bit of tape on the end there, but you know, whatever. That's kind of cool. But that's not really part of what we're showing here. I'm really just showing that off. Next up, the official Nintendo Player's Guide. A bit of a, yeah, that happens. It's in pretty good shape all in all. Although somewhere recently I actually saw one of these in better shape. I think it might have been the more recent toy show here in Victoria. I can't recall at this point, but regardless, I did buy one, and yeah. It's kind of like what I was saying before, but this is more focused, I guess, on the maps and whatever that they showed off in Nintendo Power now all collected in one place. I'm guessing that's what's happening here. Pretty neat stuff. Ghosts and Goblins, Double Dribble. I don't know why you'd need Double Dribble information. I still don't know. Whatever. The Adventure of Link. Pretty underrated game. Very tricky game. Metroid. Never been a fan of the NES Metroid. I can't believe how... this game needed a map screen, and her default shots, they don't even travel the whole screen. I guess you need a long beam. Whatever. I don't know. Actually, speaking of maps, this actually will come in handy if I ever decide to play. I bought Metroid on the Nintendo 3DS eShop, and these maps would certainly come in handy because I kind of got lost. Ring King, I've got this game. Might do a Should I Keep It episode on it. Gradius, love Gradius. Pro Wrestling, I don't think I have that game. Excitebug, Donkey Kong, Goonies 2, assorted maps, tips and tricks, blah blah blah. Neat stuff. I'm gonna guesstimate this one maybe around $10. Okay, so next up, now Andrew suggested I buy this one. I was like, oh yeah, that is pretty cool. It is Spider-Man and Venom Maximum Carnage, Marvel Comics, Sega Genesis, $19.99 sticker price. That is probably a bit much. Now it is worth noting that it has everything in there, including this little poster here and this, the mail away thing. And it does have the sexy red card, but it turns out I already own this game. So, my bad. I could have spent $20 more on other stuff at the expo. But, that's how it is. Like, if you guys have been watching my series here, you know I've got pretty epic, as the kids say, collection. So, this happens. I have this is not the first time I've rebought a game by accident, and I'm sure it won't be the last. It's an okay game. I wouldn't really recommend it unless you, once again, are a collector and you like the red cards. I can't think of any other Genesis game that wouldn't even have a red card, so in that regard, it's pretty cool. I'll probably just trade it away at some point. Alright, now we saw this on the videos. Sonic Blast Man 2 by Taito. Sticker price of $45. I think I got this for $40. I can't remember. I think in part 3 actually said the deal I got on some of these. Pretty neat game. Never really played it, but I've always wanted to spend more time with it. Once again, we might show it off here on the channel. Sounds kind of loose in there. I can take care of that once I clean it open it and clean it though. Beat 'em up game, very weird, kind of superhero-y game. I believe Pro Jared actually did a video on this game. Funny, I watched the video and was like, oh cool, doing a video on that game I recently bought. But half the video is just him talking about fighting games in general, because I'm guessing there wasn't a whole lot that he could actually make a video about. These games, they're pretty straightforward. It's like you're a guy, you punch other guys, you do super moves, and you proceed to the right. But a game pretty tricky to find, and I'm guessing that's probably a pretty good price. Next up, we're getting into the more scrub games, but you guys know me. Like, I love the bargain games, and a lot of these I did rent back in the day. So next up, we have Rocko's Modern Life: Spunky's Dangerous Day by, I guess, Viacom. Rocko's Modern Life, this was a TV show, I guess, maybe mid-90s, I want to say. Looks like it was done by Nickelodeon. It's neat to note is that on Amazon now you can actually buy the complete box set on DVD of this show, which I might buy at some point. We will see. Games like this are especially great for making videos about, because they have that nostalgia value to them, but at the same time it's like, I don't remember what the game is like. I think it's a side scroller, but I don't know. We'll see. It's always fun to see if your nostalgia actually ends up betraying you and you're like, man, this game is horrible. Why did I ever play it? I don't know. I don't think that'll happen, but we'll see. This should actually not be here yet. That is part of a different stack that we will also be seeing. So let's continue going with the Gaming Expo hall here. Family Dog, another dog-based TV show Super Nintendo game, which I also believe is a side-scroller game. I'm actually surprised a game about dogs. are not being picked up really quickly in Vancouver because the people of Vancouver freaking love dogs. I'm guessing it's really expensive to start a proper family, especially in Vancouver, which is a really expensive town to live in. So they get dogs instead. Sticker price $10. Brought to us by Malibu Games, a division of THQ Inc. Fun thing about THQ, apparently that stands for Toy Headquarters. Did you know that? Yeah, it's pretty neat. I think these came out of that $5 bin you saw back in one of those earlier episodes. Maybe part 2, I believe it was. I ended up getting a lot more footage of the vendor's room than anything else, because to be honest, like that was what brought me there. The vendor's room, just like you saw, like it was dark, it was crowded, but man, just endless bins full of games, and that's what I like. Next up, I've heard this is like a shitty version of Contra. It is Time Slip by Vic Tokai. They do some interesting games. And I think someone on Twitter was actually telling me about this game for a little while. Said it was, like I said, like Contra. And I like Contra. It's not as good as Contra. I'm 100% sure of that. But, you know. Inexpensive game, but also uncommon. As these... Well, actually, all of these games are uncommon. That's why I bought them. Time Slip. I don't know. It's looks pretty generic, but, you know. Once again, perfect video fodder for Cat and Max Gaming here, so of course stay tuned. Please consider subscribing to the channel if you have not already. Next up, The Untouchables by Ocean. As I was saying in part 3, I do love to collect the games that are based on TV shows and movies and the like. And this is certainly one of those games. And I like these old gangsterish era kind of times. Pretty neat stuff. Apparently it came from Crazy Mike's video. Special shout out to Crazy Mike. Hope you're keeping it crazy wherever you are. That sticker's inaccurate. I'm pretty sure this was another $5 game. Because that's how I roll. Alright. Oh god. Next up we saw this in the video is Raid on Bungling Bay by Broderbund. I don't know, I've never really understood how to pronounce that name. So I think this is like a real-time strategy game or something like that. I really don't know. But as I was saying in the video, it's just another extremely uncommon game. This was arguably the first time I'd ever seen it. Pretty weird cover too. So it went home with me. Here it is. And once again, could very well be in an episode of Should I Keep It, or Stephen Plays, or Game Start, you know, whatever. If I don't know about it, chances are, well, you can look forward to a video about the game from me to you. Next up, Heavy Barrel. I think I recall saying I got this for $5. I hear this is a shittier version of Guerrilla War. Guerrilla War is a pretty sweet game, and I do own it already. I didn't have Heavy Barrel, and I do like these Data East cover arts. It's just kind of brings to mind the early Mega Man cover arts. It might even be the same artist. I think that's what they were saying on the Happy Console Gamer when they were talking about a retro event that they went to, and they got that big Mega Man 2 poster that we actually mentioned in the last episode of this Gamer Hall special. Yeah, just baller art. And I love Data East. They're just a truly vintage company, Data East. I don't know if they're still around. Probably not, which is too bad. Just look at that logo. That's classy. Like it's an arcade hit, as most of these NES games often were. I'm tempted to make a two-parter, so I guess we'll just finish this part with Jaleco's Pinball Quest, the world's first pinball fantasy. This is, of course, complete in box. It's got it all in there. I'll try and finish this before the 20-minute mark. Black and white manual. Bit of a crease on the back, but you know, very uncommon game around these parts, and happy to have it to the collection. It's even got the little styrofoam on the bottom there, which is very important to anyone that collects the boxes, because you know, if they don't have that styrofoam, they don't sit quite right, and then they're making noise because normally it's like that. Yeah. All right. Cool. All right. So this does it for my Vancouver Retro Gaming Expo haul. So stay tuned for part 2 when I will show off all the stuff I found in and around Vancouver after the expo. Thanks for watching.